While Gaza burned and outrage filled the streets, Arab generals met Israelis behind closed doors. In Bahrain in Qatar, in the shadows of war, enemies turned quiet partners. Was this betrayal of Palestine or the birth of a new Middle East? A shocking revelation has come into light as the Gaza war is nearing its end. Over the past 3 years, facilitated by the United States, senior military officials from Israel and 6 Arab countries came together for planning meetings in Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, and Qatar, the Washington Post reported. While key Arab states publicly condemned Israel's actions in Gaza, leaked US documents reveal they were quietly deepening security cooperation with the Israeli military behind the scenes. Qatar, whose capital was struck on September 9th by Israeli missiles targeting Hamas leaders, was one of the countries that had quietly strengthened ties with the Israeli military. In May 2024, the documents show senior Israeli and Arab military officials convened at Al Udeid Air Base, a major US military facility in Qatar. A planning document for the event, written 2 days before it was set to begin, shows that the Israeli delegation was scheduled to fly directly to the airbase, avoiding Qatar's civilian points of entry that could have risked public exposure. Those covert ties were thrown into turmoil after Israel's September airstrike in Qatar, but they could now prove pivotal in enforcing the fragile ceasefire taking shape in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu apologized to Qatar on September 29th for the strike, after prompting from the Trump administration, and pledged not to conduct such attacks in the future. Israel and Hamas agreed on October 8th to the first phase of a peace framework that would result in the release of all the hostages held by Hamas and a partial Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. But even before that announcement, the Arab countries involved in this security collaboration had signaled their support for President Donald Trump's 20-point plan to end the Gaza war. The plan calls for Arab states to participate in the deployment of an international force to Gaza that would train a new Palestinian police force in the region. In a joint statement, 5 of the 6 Arab countries said that they supported the establishment of a mechanism that guarantees the security of all sides, but they have stopped short of publicly committing to deploy military forces. The documents show that the threat posed by Iran was the driving force behind the closer ties, which have been fostered by the US military's Central Command, known as Centcom. One document describes Iran and its allied militias as the axis of evil, and another includes a map with missiles superimposed over Gaza and Yemen, where Iranian allies hold power. 5 Centcom PowerPoint presentations, reviewed by the Washington Post, detail the creation of what the US military describes as the regional security construct. In addition to Israel and Qatar, the construct includes Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The documents refer to Kuwait and Oman as potential partners that were briefed on all meetings. The presentations are marked unclassified and were distributed to the construct's partners, and in some cases also to the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance comprising Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Britain, and the United States. They were written between 2022 and 2025, before and after the launch of Israel's war in Gaza in October 2023. One meeting in particular, in January at the Army's Fort Campbell in Kentucky, roughly an hour's drive from Nashville, included sessions where US forces trained partners on how to detect and neutralize threats posed by subterranean tunnels, a key tool used by Hamas against the Israeli military in the Gaza Strip. Another document describes partners from 6 countries participating in a training to destroy underground tunnels, but did not name the countries. Centcom personnel also led planning meetings to launch information operations to counter Iran's narrative that it is the regional protector of Palestinians and, according to a 2025 document, to propagate a partner narrative of regional prosperity and cooperation. Even as security cooperation with Israel expanded behind closed doors, Arab leaders denounced its war in Gaza. The leaders of Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia even said the Israeli campaign amounted to a genocide. US military officials have publicly acknowledged the existence of the partnership, but have not spoken about the extent of Israeli-Arab cooperation in those efforts. In 2022, General Kenneth Frank McKenzie, then Centcom's commander, described the partnership in congressional testimony as an effort building on the momentum of the Abraham Accords, the agreement establishing diplomatic ties between Israel and Morocco, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. The Washington Post reported that the documents show how the centerpiece of the construct, an air defense plan to combat Iran's missiles and drones, moved from theory to reality over the past 3 years. Israel and the Arab countries signed on to the plan at a 2022 security conference, agreeing to coordinate military exercises and procure the equipment to make it possible. By 2024, Centcom successfully linked many of the partner states to its systems, according to the leaked documents, allowing them to provide radar and sensor data to the US military and, in turn, to view the combined data of the partners. While Qatar and Saudi Arabia do not have formal diplomatic relationships with Israel, the Centcom documents show the important behind-the-scenes role that both powerful Gulf states played in this nascent partnership. The May 2024 security conference at Al Udeid Air Base underscored the increased cooperation, with Israeli officials holding bilateral discussions with representatives from each of the attending Arab countries. Saudi Arabia too played an active role in this collaboration, sharing intelligence with Israel and Arab partners on a broad range of security issues. In a 2025 meeting, a Saudi official and a US intelligence official provided an intelligence overview to partners on political developments in Syria, including the role played by Russia, Turkey, and Kurdish forces in the country. The briefing also covered the threats posed by the Iran-backed Houthi militant group in Yemen and the Islamic State's operations in Syria and Iraq,